up to 2 days before the start of the season, you can have 30 players on the roster. Then that gets bumped down to 25 plus 2 that are injured. So technically you could have 27 on the roster, but 2 of them have to be hurt on opening day. Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to another edition of the RailCats Talk podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Savetich, and today we have 3 signings and a bit of confusion on the roster. I'll get into that because it's a weird breakdown, as I was aware of it, that Chuck put on Twitter towards me. He was the first one to alert me that the RailCats did have 3 signings. I was unaware. I was at work, so I was kind of confused. But let's go ahead and get into the 3 signings. And the one signing, I really can't find anything on the guy, so I'm not sure what to go off of. But they signed Marco Hernandez, a catcher. He is, let me pull that up real quick. Marco is a catcher / first baseman, bats right, throws right, 6'2", 170 pounds. He is 24 years of age, from Venezuela. It looked like he was in the Dodgers organization from 2016 to about 2017. He was rookie ball. With it still looks like probably all the way to 2019-ish is where it's looking at here. And then he last played in Rancho Cucamonga, a single A. That's where he was last at with the Dodgers. So I guess he spent an entire career so far with the Dodgers. And this is what all of the 6 levels kind of look like. He played in 224 games, had 887 plate appearances, 737 at bats, 133 runs, 129 hits, 239 doubles, 3 triples, 10 home runs, 93 RBIs, 13 stolen bases, got caught 15 of those times, walked 105, struck out 124. Batting average of 261, on base percentage of 373, slugging of 365, OPS of 738. It's looking like his best years were in the rookie ball kind of aspect, where his numbers were up at the 321 range, but looking at last year, he played in 20 games, had 57 plate appearance, or 57 at bats, 10 runs, 13 hits, 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 11 RBIs, 1 caught stealing, walked 14 times, struck out 14 times, had a batting average of 228, is what he did last year. So kind of getting into the confusion with the rosters right now. So I don't know quite. I don't know quite if the RailCats are at 30 or if they're at 29. So this is going to come into a factor here in a minute. But bringing another catcher with the roster already full of catchers at this standpoint here. We have four catchers. You have Thomas Greeley, Marco Hernandez, Carlos Martinez, and one more, Ramces Urias Jr., which is the one that I am kind of confused on. So looking at point streak here, his last team he was with was Phoenix College. Can't really find much on Ramces here. Only thing that is on Baseball Reference is Bluefield College. So if I'm going off of Phoenix College here, he played in 13 games, had a 162 batting average, 4 RBIs, and 3 runs. That is all that I'm getting from this. Like I said, it's not much. I'm not even sure if I have the right guy via there's TikToks, Instagrams. I'm not sure if it's the guy. It could be the guy. Like I said, it's a guy fresh out of college, so I don't know if it's just one of those. I might have to wait for the press release to kind of add more on to the players. So I'll probably have another podcast once the press release comes out on these players to kind of see where Lamar Rogers is at on this. But just kind of going back to the roster here, you have four players of besides Ramsey of pretty much the same kind of caliber of play here. I'll get into Marco here in a second, but they kind of seem to play on the list. So I don't know if it's just going to be we're going to try this week of spring training and kind of see who comes out of this. At this point, like I said, I don't know enough about everyone else to kind of gauge what that's the kind of the fun part about this is not everyone's gonna quite know these players like the back of their hand. But just based off of last year with Thomas Greeley, I think he is a player that is suited for that spot, but I think it's probably going to go to Carlos Martinez. I just think he has a little bit more oomph than Thomas Greeley. I think Thomas Greeley is a good backup defensive catcher. I think he's one of those that he will play, maybe more defensively, and then Carlos Martinez will be more of a DH role. I'm not sure how this all going. This roster is going to be something to dive into once spring training starts and we kind of see the rosters come together, and that's when we'll kind of do a deep dive into what we're going to see during for the regular season. But like I said, Ramsey, Urias, not much on him. Not much at all. But the big one is going to be Trevor Lubking is returning back to the RailCats. I don't quite know if he's necessarily healthy. Or if he's healthy, good, he's back on the roster. I mean, he was going to be the ace going in. It seems like Adam Heidenfelder is no longer going to be with the team. It sounds more like the rumors are true on the aspect of him retiring. So that's kind of where we're at on this one. Trevor Lubking last year was top 25 in the American Association. He got hurt, and that was basically it for him. Let me get into him real quick right now. He's 30 years old, so he missed his 29th year, but he's rolling into his third, more likely his second season. He did, like I said, he did play. He only pitched 2 2/3 inning, gave up a hit, and that was it. And then he was, done for the year. He played in one game, started one game, and that was it. Opening day, and that was done. But looking at his last year's record, or 2021, I should say, he won 5 games, lost 9, 485 earned run average. Run per 9 was 5.54 games, 19, started 18 of them. Let's see, games finished 1, completed games he had 2, which I'm not sure how that one works, but it is what it is. He pitched 117 innings, gave up 119 hits, 72 runs, 63 earned, 16 home runs, 50 walks. Let's see, struck out 117. He had 9 wild pitches. His whip was 1.44. Hits per 9 was 9.2. Home runs per 9 1.2. Yeah, home run or hits per 9 was 9.2. Home runs per 9 1.2. Walks per 9 3.8, and strikeouts per 9 was 9. I think we expected a lot from Trevor last year, and obviously he was hurt, so that kind of sucks. So, but in the aspect, the grand scheme of things, yes, does it suck that we lose Adam Heidenfelder? It does. I mean, if we had Adam Heidenfelder in this rotation, if he were to resign and was in this rotation, and Trevor Lubking coming back, this would be a deadly RailCats organization as far as front loaded it is. I mean, depending on who you're going to put in the rotation, like I said, I think Chris Irwin kind of deserves a good look. John Cheeks looks a good look. That Harrison Francis and Trevor Lubking coming back, so it's gonna be interesting to see what the rotation is going to be like and who Lamar Rogers is going to throw out there first. I think Trevor kind of has to earn a little bit of. I guess I don't even know say that. I don't want to say that because in spring training last year he did get the start and he did get injured. So I think it's just one of those. What his rehab's going to be like, what's he going to be like coming into spring training, how is he going to recover from the injury last year, so on and so forth. So we'll kind of get into what the dilemma is with the roster. So now fully understanding the roster rules here, as Chuck pointed me to the media, the American Association media press release kind of deal. Up to 2 days before the start of the season, you can have 30 players on the roster. Then that gets bumped down to 25 plus 2 that are injured. So technically you could have 27 on the roster, but 2 of them have to be hurt on opening day. But the issue, what we look at here, is on the RailCats website, they have 29, and then you add the 3, but Trevor Lubking was already on it, so then you just add the 2. Well, the 29 plus Trevor, 29 including Trevor, it makes it 31. So who were the people that were out, right? Who was the out? And the only player that matches up to this, where I just lost it. I had it and I lost it. Was I'm gonna jack up his name. Julio Hernandez. Sorry, I jacked that up. He is the only one that isn't on, or it is the only one going back through the transactions that has not been re-signed. The only one. But that's on the RailCats website. But when you go over to the American Association website, or not the American, the Point Streak website, it's already added Marco Hernandez and Ramces Urias. Already added on there, right? They're already added. So I'm not quite sure, because what I'm confused by is on the Point Streak one, there are 28 players. Or 29, exactly 29. But on the RailCat side, you have Onus Fanfare, who I did a podcast about, and did sign with the RailCats right before the clock struck midnight 2023. I think it was somewhere in December, late November, early December kind of area. He there, so the roster would make 30. But I'm not quite sure what's missing. So maybe in the next couple of days we'll kind of get some reassurance around how that's all working out, because I'm not sure. We're all just trying to figure this out, and it's just kind of confusing. So we're just going to say that the RailCats have 30 people on their roster, even if they don't. Like I said, I'm not sure. I don't know what clarification that we're going to get. The only clarification is on the day of the first spring training game. We'll look at the roster and see how it rolls out and what's going to be. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know what kind of moves are going to be made. I guess that all that really matters, if there's 29 or 30 at the end of the day, all that matters is 2 days before opening day, what is the roster going to look like? So like I said, I'm not sure what, there's the new signings. It's not really in depth, as in depth as it can be. Like I said, the only new one to really kind of get in depth with would be the Marco Hernandez, being a catcher. Just looking at his fielding percentage here, he's averaging a 982 overall. Last year with Rancho Cucamonga, he averaged a 985. Looking at the chances, stolen bases, there was, I think, 34 attempts, and you only got 5 of them, so that's a 13%. So I don't know, what this is going to look like this year, especially with the pitch clock. I just assume that there's going to be more stolen bases, disengagements, that kind of stuff. But I do have a future podcast coming up with an idea. I've been listening to Indie Ball Report, and they've been talking about the Atlantic League, their adoption with the MLB to be more of a tester site, and they are testing what seems to be like the prime example is like a pinch runner for any player, and the pinch runner doesn't replace the player. So let's put it in let's just say Thomas Greeley's catching, right? And Jesus Mariaga's out for the day, right? Just whatever. Say, Thomas Greeley gets on to second and it's a close game and Lamar Rogers says, you know what, Jesus, I need your speed. You go ahead and go on second. The next inning, he wouldn't have to try to get, let's just use Marco Hernandez because he's the one right top of my head. He wouldn't have to go to him to put him in at the catcher. Thomas Greeley would come in and be the catcher, and they make it seem like it's just going to be a one overall term kind of thing. But the question isn't necessarily do I think that the American Association should be a tester or should we be a tester. It's going to be one of those. I'm not sure how I'm going to award that one technically, but I'll figure it out and I'll have a podcast of it. I am off on Wednesday and Thursday this week, so I'll have some ideas on that one. But this was just quick, just over 15, under 20-minute podcast talking about the new signings. Most of us RailCats fans know Trevor Lubking. Hopefully he's healthy and able to go. But the roster is still kind of in shambles because we don't necessarily know who or what there's no fine. The roster's not out and it's just fine. There's differences between both. So hopefully at the end of the day, we can figure something out. But if you enjoyed the podcast, please leave a like, comment, subscribe down below. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. All that's under RailCats Talk. I'm excited for opening day. It's going to get right around the corner. If you have any last minute ideas throughout the season or last minute ideas before the opening season on podcasts and stuff, just send me a question, send me a tweet, whatever the case may be. I'll think of something and I'll throw something together right before the season starts. But if nothing new out of that, I think that's it for me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening, whenever you're watching this, and go Cats.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Wrap this one up in green and white.